What's up, guys? It's Missy. I'm back with another SimCity Build It video. For those of you guys who are not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Also join us on Facebook at SimCity Build It, MissyanneTTVYT. You can find all of the links to pretty much everything in terms of production plan, design album, links to, like I said, all the social media and stuff like that in the description below. And this lovely little picture I decided to make instead of typing up a whole document for a store that's only here 21 days that I absolutely hate, mind you. We're going to talk about the Santa shop today. What items should you produce for the contest of mayors, and what items should you produce in terms of money? Now, some of the people that play the game, they don't really understand the mathematics behind calculating profit. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today, about why you can't really trust what you see here, okay? Because if you look here, and we're going to zoom in, this is something that I talk about quite a bit in the production plan video. So if you guys are familiar with that video, you should have a good understanding of what I'm talking about here. Now, a toy horse sells at a maximum price for 120 coins, according to this website, right? Just know that I got this off a website. All right. Pretty sure that it's all accurate, though. Okay, so it sells for 120 coins. The total time it takes to make this item, this not the items that go into it, but this specific item from the time you put it into this Santa workshop is 20 minutes. The materials is 1 wood, 1 nail, 1 hammer. The total time, okay, that we're talking makes the toy horse only, not the materials that go into it, is 20 minutes. Now, the material cost is 140 coins, okay? So if the material cost, if you were to go out onto the global market and you were to purchase 1 nail, 1 wood, 1 hammer, you will have spent 140 coins. You will have come back to your city and you will have put down a toy horse that can sell for 120 coins. Yes, you actually lost 20 coins. Yeah. Okay. Now, if we look here, holiday decorations take 3 seeds. Mind you that seeds are a factory item, so seeds can be made all at once. Just keep that in the back of your mind. Whereas shop items can only be made one at a time. Now, the total time it takes to make a holiday decoration is 60 minutes. Okay. That being said, the material cost is 90. So the profit is 85. Okay. Now, let's look at the candy canes. Now, the candy canes are the reason why you don't have any sugar on the global market, which is comical because people complain all year long about how they hate sugar and it's going to give them all these, great rares when the sugar's gone, and then they find out, no, it doesn't give you any more rares, you're just screwed and now you can't make donuts. Congratulations. Okay, so here we have candy canes that take a total of 180 minutes. That's quite a long time, okay? Now, the material cost is 330, which means that the profit, as you can see here, is 20. So if you can sell a candy cane for 350, okay, and it costs you 330 to make it, it means that you profited 20 coins. Okay. Now, the holiday ornaments sell for 920 and take 45 minutes to make. All right. So if you look, we have a $540 profit. Does that mean that the holiday ornaments yield the highest profit? Yes and no. They yield the highest profit when you're talking in terms of materials purchased. Okay? So it looks like you would want to make a whole bunch of these ornaments. However, what you have to account for is that you're probably not purchasing the paint, right? Because there's not a whole lot of paint on global. So if you're not purchasing the paint, where is it coming from? You have to produce it. Now, if you're producing the materials rather than purchasing, you don't subtract the cost of the materials. You just add the time it takes to make those items, okay? So if you take the time it takes to make paint and glass, then you take the total sales price, which would be $920, and divide that into the total time, which would be the 45 minutes it takes to make the ornament, the total time it takes to make the paint, and the total time it takes to make the glass. And that would be your profit amount. Now, what people don't account for isn't what you can make and what you're earning here. It's what you're not making when you're making this, okay? So if you're making paint versus, let's say, nails, how much money are you losing every time you make one can of paint to make money here? And that is why the production plan was such a hard thing to put together, because you have to account for the fact that not all materials can be purchased easily. You have to account for the fact that if you're not purchasing the materials, you're making them. And if you're making those for something that's more profitable, how much money are you losing? So let's say that you were to say, you know what, instead of making holiday ornaments and having to make paint, I'm going to continue to make nails and yield an excellent profit, which is like a $10 a minute profit or something, if I remember right, versus making the ornament, I'm going to make holiday decorations. Why did I pick holiday decorations? Because it's a fast factory item, and we're accounting for it being made, not purchased. Now, the fact that, okay, yeah, we could purchase sugar if it was out there, and we could make candy canes, but those ones take forever for a really low profit amount. So what is actually the best thing to make here? Technically, the holiday decorations, because you are going to lose too much money making this much paint and glass. Now, this is where things get really, really tricky. What if you don't make the glass, but you only make the paint? How much do you lose there? See how you can really juggle things around to be really complicated? What if you say, okay, you know what, you're not making each glass individually, you can make a whole batch at once, versus a shop item, you can only make one at a time. It's not like you're making 10 paint in one time it takes to make one paint jug. You're only making one, right? Whereas with seeds, remember earlier when I said keep that in the back of your mind, you can make 60 seeds at once, saying you're a high enough level player. That being said, it takes you 20 minutes in total to make 60 seeds, okay? So if you take 20 minutes in total, and the total time it takes to make a holiday decoration, you're going to have saved money by not making paint, by continuing to be able to do whatever you want in your other shops and continuing to make money there, and still yielding an excellent profit over here. So technically, just by looking at this is extremely misleading, because most of these charts that are made based off of materials purchased. Big difference in materials purchased versus being produced. Now, when I wrote my production plan on all the other shops, we accounted for all this stuff. We looked into materials purchased, produced, what would yield the highest profit if you could purchase things, and we did it on a more realistic game setting, knowing that there's certain items that are just more easily obtainable. I can't expect somebody to be able to, let's say, purchase 95 melons a day and make a whole bunch of smoothies versus, okay, yeah, smoothies do yield a higher profit, but you can't make that many melons in a day. So if you can't make them and you have to purchase them and you can't find them, then how is that really a good production plan, right? Anytime that you want to calculate profit, you need to decide whether or not you are producing or buying the materials. If you're producing them, that's the first thing you need to think about, is how are you losing money by producing this for something else? And you need to subtract that from this. So if, let's say, just hypothetically, I'm just going to throw a number out there. Let's say that you made $20,000 a day or something making nails. And you now don't make that $20,000 a day by making the nails because you're making paint. And let's say you now make $10,000 off of the holiday ornaments, right? You are now down $10,000 in profit, and you're running a shop for nothing. Now, what if I said you could keep your $20,000 in nails and still run the holiday shop and profit? That's the concept we're looking at here, is that you are losing profits if you make holiday ornaments. You're losing profits if you make gingerbread cookies, because then you have to look at, well, what is that flour being used for? The flour's now going towards what? The gingerbread, not the donuts. Same with the sugar. So if you can make a donut for 950 coins for 1 flour and 1 sugar, why the hell would you then add a spatula to the equation to make $200 less? See what I'm saying? Doesn't make sense. Oh, and check this out. A gingerbread cookie takes twice as long to make as a donut, pretty much, right? So you've added more materials, extra time, and lower profit to produce a gingerbread cookie, rather than just making your damn donuts and sticking with what you know. Now, the candy cane is comical, like I said, because this one takes forever. And this is probably the one that you guys are going to get the most assignments for. If you have a lot of time to prep your Santa shop, and just know that if you guys are serious CoM players and you are low level and don't have a whole lot of tokens, then you're probably going to want to open up as many of the shop slots as you can, because the store does come back around year after year. Now, if it was me and I was running this shop purely to make coin, I would go with the holiday decorations, okay? But if you're talking in terms of the contest of mayors, that's a whole nother thing. You're probably going to get the most assignment, the assignment that you're going to get for the most points is probably going to be the candy canes. And that is because they take so long to make. Now, when something takes that long to make, it's going to just eat through your tokens, okay? So if you do get the candy canes in your list worth a low value, do not touch them if you can avoid it, okay? Especially if you're close to the streaks. Also, if you have a feeder city, start using your feeder city to make sugar. You're going to need it, okay? What you know, there's not going to be sugar on the global market for the next 22 days. That's just how this works every year. And every year, people complain about sugar, and they think that they're just going to find all these extra rares, and there's just going to be all this stuff on the global market, and that's not how the global market works. The only thing now is it's just harder than hell for everybody to make what they need to make and continuing to make profit. You know, I really wish that the vast majority of the SimCity building community understood this, because it would save us so much trouble if we only made candy canes if we absolutely had to for the contest. If this assignment comes in and it is of main task value, which would be 2,000 points or higher, then you will need to do it. However, if it's close to the streaks and you can avoid touching it, I would. All the other ones, if you want to, what you can do is you can, you know, prep like your shop half and half, and prep maybe the holiday ornaments. That is another assignment that comes in a lot. Honestly, the one I see the least of is the holiday decorations. Gee, I wonder why that would be. So, prep what you can. The toy horse is easy, you know, in terms of time, so don't prep that. You have 60 minutes on the holiday decorations, which would mean that you can get 12 of those done on a gold token, so don't prep that. So when it comes to prep, you're going to look at the bottom 3. Candy canes, gingerbread cookies, and holiday ornaments. Really think about your material cost, okay? Like your inventory. Don't just waste all your paint making a whole bunch of holiday ornaments if you don't have it, you know? So maybe what you can do is do your best to maybe run your VU generator shop the best that you can for some of these other materials you're going to need, like spatulas if you get the hardware store, or paint if you get the building supply store, flour if you get the you should be running flour in that store if you get the barn anyways. And like I said, if you have a feeder, use it for sugar. You're gonna need it. Okay, the next thing that I want to say is we've got quite a bit to cover here. I did talk about the Mayor's Pass. We also talked about the design challenge in another video. We have a couple of landscape items that came out in the menu. They are these little, trees. I think they're birch trees. The singles are 50 cash, which I think is really ridiculous. And then the 4-pack is 100. So you get 2 extra trees for the cost of an extra, 75 cash. But like I said, you get 2 extra trees. So honestly, if you are going to purchase these trees, you're going to want to do it in the 4-pack bundles just because of the fact that you get 2 extra trees. But it kind of sucks because you don't always want to do that, right? A lot of times you just want singles, which of course is why they made the price so high. This is also a new addition to the game. What this does is it puts your city name on this little sign here. So as you can see, it says Flowery City Name. Now what you do is you place it out on your map and it shows your name. Now, if I actually had room to place it, it would actually show my name here of my city, and it doesn't actually spell it out all the way across. It kind of cuts it in half because my city name is so long. So just be aware of that. If you have a long city name, it's gonna actually cut it in half, which sucks. I think this is a huge waste of money. When I said that they should bring in flowers, this is not what I meant. I meant flowers kind of like trees, that we can place out. $800 is extremely steep for something, especially of this size. It's tiny, and it's ridiculous. I wouldn't buy that, okay? Now, these here are the new trees, all the way here at the end. This is what they look like in a 4-pack. I'll show you guys. Okay, so that's what they look like. They actually kind of bunch up in certain, depending on where you place them, they change their shape, kind of like the other trees. So see how they're a little bit more bunched up now. Now the singles, they are like little tiny sticks. They hardly bunch up at all. I'll show you. Got a couple of those I can put out for you guys to show you. Like that one actually bunched up a lot versus this one's pretty wimpy, as you can see here. So, I like the look of them. I just don't like the price. The price is way too high. I don't know what the hell they've been thinking lately with these $50 trees, but it's too damn much. Okay. I don't think there was anything else. The Santa shop, we covered that. Like I said, if you're going to prep items, I already told you guys what to prep. I already told you what to, make in terms of profit. Honestly, if you are prepping the night before, try to prep the longest items with the highest probability of assignment. If you get these assignments in your main list of low value, it would be wise to not touch them if they are the gingerbread or the candy cane, okay? Those ones have a tendency to come back. The algorithm rate is relatively high. Not like, the monster or anything, but kind of like the epic algorithm. So if you're familiar with the epic algorithm, it's similar to that. It has either a tendency to come in multiple times in a row, or it just stays gone in, forever. If you're close to the streaks, don't touch it. Get the streaks done first, get your active wartime dealt with, and then you can deal with these long factory productions when value trumps opportunity. If you don't know what that means you haven't watched very many of my CoM videos, which I highly recommend you do. If you're a high level player, not a low level player, same logic applies, except for you guys just have a little bit more tokens you can deal with, and you probably have a little bit more leeway for cash and things like that, especially if you're on the Missy's Building Guide. So, like I said, just do your best to prep. If it was me, if I was playing, high-level CoM competitively, what I would do is the night before the contest, I would prep candy canes or gingerbread, more than likely the candy canes because they take the longest. Then I would evaluate my list, and if I had it in my list worth a low value, I would not touch it. If it was a main task value, I would get it done and out of the way to see if it's going to return for a lower amount. If I was close to the streaks, I wouldn't touch it at all. Okay? So high-level players, you're going to have a lot easier time avoiding this task as you guys can do upgrades. Low-level players, it's pretty much a nightmare for you guys. Okay? This shop just means nothing but problems for you. It is more production tasks for you guys, but they're not exactly a good thing, right? They require materials that you probably need for other things that you don't want to get rid of, and it just wreaks havoc on the global market and everything. It cuts into your donut production because you can't find sugar. It's just super, super annoying. If you do make sugar and you want to be a good teammate, let's say that you get sugar for main task value and you have to make a batch of it and you can't hold it all. I highly recommend that you keep your depot stocked up for your teammates. If people would play more as a team, they would all be more successful. I can't tell you how many people tell me how they're in a group that's dead or it's bad or whatever. If you're in a bad group, do something to make it better. Either be president and basically force people to be good active members of your group, or go elsewhere where there are better members. You have to be a good member yourself. You can't just expect people to give, but then you're never around to give, right? Everybody's always around to request. No one's ever around to fill a request. That's not how we run things in my group. So if you're in my group, know this. It is your job to be as successful as possible and make your teammates' life easier. So if I see anybody globaling sugar in my group for the next 21 days, I'm probably going to rip your ass, okay? There's no reason for that because I'm sure we're all going to need it. Make sure that you at least offer it to the group before you sell it to the global market. It will help you tremendously later on. Okay, if you have some of your long factory production secured in your main list, do not rotate them before the streaks and then utilize that to make sugar. Okay, so like let's say that you have feed and glass, and if you're a high level player, electrical, and you are able, you have some downtime to make sugar because like I said, there's not going to be any of sugar ever on the, like you're not going to see it on global for the next 21 days. It's going to be hard to find, even on your low level cities. All right, you guys, good luck to you. Hopefully this helps. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so before you leave. And I will see you guys next time.